Hey, how you doing, everybody? Sarasota Tim, coming to you from beautiful South Florida here in Boynton Beach, Florida. I'm at the Boynton Inlet. You're looking at behind me here. It's a beautiful backdrop. And today's video, I wanted to talk to all of the folks out there that are around my age or younger that are contemplating retirement and what you might want to consider thinking about regarding your Social Security. Now, while there's many videos on YouTube that can advise you and recommend you and things on the internet you can read, no one, and I repeat, no one will be as blunt and as honest with you as I have been on all of my YouTube videos regarding Social Security. Now, Social Security is something that you get if you pay your taxes when you and you're eligible, and a lot of people don't know this. This is one of the reasons why I make these videos. A lot of people are not aware of what age you can collect your Social Security. And that age is as early as 62. And when you start studying it and you contemplate it and you're in your 60s or you're in your late 50s and you're thinking about Social Security, you start getting really interested because, you want to get your money. The first things that they start telling you, the first things that you learn are a word called reduced amount or less amount or penalty or don't do it. Don't get your Social Security when you're eligible. Wait till you're almost dead. And I told you this is going to be a very blunt video. That's exactly what they want to do, folks. They don't want to give you Social Security. They do not do anything to make the Social Security fund solvent. They keep kicking the can down the road. There is all of these politicians sitting on their hands because they have pensions and they have a free life, and they could really care less about you, to be honest with you. And I don't care what letter they got behind their name. They're all the same rats with different heads. That's the way I look at it. But while Social Security is actually something that people that pay their taxes and are eligible to get, I say if you're walking down the street and you see a $20 bill laying on the ground, you pick it up. You don't lay it there and say, well, maybe tomorrow when I walk by, it'll be a 50. No, you get your money when you can. But they say, oh, you'll be penalized. You can only make so much money. You'll get less money. This and that and the other thing. Well, let me just tell you, folks. Hi. When you are eligible at 62 years old, whether that check is going to be $900, $1,700, $2,000, whatever it is, collect it. Because if you wait, let's make math easy. Let's say you only get $1,000 a month. I get $1,700 a month, and that's only because it's been bumped up a little bit in the last couple of years, and more than it's been bumped up in the last 40 years. But fortunately, I was at the time where we did get that $150 increase. So I get a whopping $1,700 a month. But to make math simple, if you can get $1,000 a month, and that's what they say they'll give you at age 62, but you could get more if you wait till you're age 67. What they don't tell you is, let me put this thing in my pocket here. Oh, there goes a camper. I like campers. I live in a camper. They don't tell you that every month you forfeit your check from 62 years old, that they don't have to give it to you, to wait on this bigger amount of money, which is supposed to be 30%. And that's if you wait the full time, all the way till 67. If you started at 63 or 62 a year later, you're still going to get a little bit more money, but it'll never be that 30% that they talk about giving you until you wait until you're 67. So anyway, back to the $1,000 a month. 60 months before your full retirement age. 5 years, 60 months. That's $60,000 that you did not collect because you were convinced by the naysayers and the government and your friends and what you read on the internet that it's well worth getting $1,500 a month or 30% of whatever it would be in 5 years, because it doesn't go, some people talk about these magical double amounts of money. It's not true. you get 30% more, period, the end. But they tell you this 30% that you would get by waiting 5 years, they don't tell you that it takes you all of your life until you're practically 80 years old before you see the break-even point, before your amount of money that you took less is caught up. So in other words, $60,000 over 5 years that you did not collect, you're going to spend several years collecting $1,500. That's about $500 more you get if you wait. You're going to spend years and years and years collecting the $1,500 to ever get back what you didn't take for 5 years. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is you could die. The worst part is the fact is you will be older. You could have a whole different situation going on in your health. You could be someone that gets a bad hip, or diabetes, or cancer, or blind. I have an issue with my eye. All kinds of health issues. You know, it's like a car when it gets 100,000 miles. It used to happen a lot sooner, but nowadays you can pretty much get 100,000 out of almost all of them before you get problems. But you're going to get problems. The older you live, the older you'll look, the older you'll act, and eventually you will die. You can't live forever. Taxes and death, two things you can guarantee on, right? So you say, well, what's that got to do with anything? Well, I'll tell you right now, if you're 62 and you can collect, and you still feel vibrant and young, and you still got pretty good health, and you've been healthy most of your life, like I have enjoyed, praise God, then I want my money, because I still have to work a little bit, but only like part-time. I can now come out of the workforce, of which I call jobs prison jobs. It's just a saying. It's just a joke. But if you have a prison job, you can now work $1,000 a month less of however many hours it took you to make $1,000. Or if you make $1,500 on Social Security, you can now work, like me, I get $1,700. I can now work $1,700 less a month, and I still got the $1,700. So now all I have to do is work hard enough with a side hustle, and the fact that I'm retired and I've got this money coming in, I can now choose a job that's part-time, that's a job that I don't have to depend on full benefits and a full paycheck and listen to what they got to tell me every day to supplement my Social Security so that I can live and do what I want to do. You know, working a part-time job is healthy. Being around people is healthy. Having a little side hustle, doing something that you want to do, being self-employed, maybe you've got skills, and now you can go around and you can help people paint their home, fix their plumbing, do all of the above. Electrician, you got all kinds of skills. You can help build things. You know, you were in the contracting business. Now you pull out of it, instead of working 40, 50 hours a week, now you can work whatever hours you want to work and name your own paycheck. Because now you're just doing what you want to do. But you still have a grub stake every month coming in for the rest of your life. $1,000, $1,500, $1,700, whatever you can collect at 62, depending on how big of an earner you were, because it's based on your best 35 years. Most people get about the same. Unless you never reported income taxes, or you didn't work a lot, or you're a stay-at-home mom or something, and your Social Security happens to be a much lower check than the national average, most people are getting around $1,100 a month or more on their Social Security. So you're going to be around that same number that I'm getting, most likely. And getting that for 5 years, for me, would amount to $103,000. So $103,000 leaving it on the table, leaving it on the street, that I didn't collect from the government, my money, taxes I paid in, that I'm still alive to collect, the day I can get it. And for me to say, I don't want it, that's crazy. You know, to keep working, well, keep working if you want, but work less. Work, instead of 40 hours, 20 hours, cut it in half. Take those 20 hours you don't have to work for that free money you're getting, that check that you paid into, and go do something else. Sit at home, watch TV. Go fishing. Come out like you do what I'm doing. Do nothing. Get some exercise. Be in the sun. Meet people. Do whatever you want to do. Travel. I bought an RV. I'm going to travel in my RV. I make extra money on YouTube. Become a YouTuber. Sell things on eBay. Be an Amazon seller. There's endless things you can do working for yourself that you can supplement your Social Security and make pretty much equal to what you were making. Now that would be excluding people that like to come back in comments and say, I make 100 grand a year. Well, guess what? You are the part of the 2% in this country that make that kind of money. God bless you. You're a great earner. And you want to keep doing that? You like your job? Keep doing it. I give one reason and one reason only not to collect Social Security. And that is if you love your job and you're making so much money that you don't want to quit, and so you just want to keep on doing what you're doing. In that case, plus if you have a lot of debt and you can't afford to quit and live on Social Security, and that's the key thing. That brings me to part 2. To collect Social Security at 62 and to be one of those people, hey, my friend, how are you doing? I saw you at the UPS store. You probably don't recognize me with my hat and everything. How are you doing today? Out getting those miles in, huh? Now keep it up, man, keep it up. I'll see you again. He's always out walking. This guy walks more than anybody I know. But if you don't have debt, paid off, and you have debt, I should say, then you're in a world of hurt. If you're 62 years old and you still have to work because you owe 3-4 credit cards that you get $5,000, $10,000 on each, you got car payments, you got all these streaming services you signed up to, and you don't even watch them anymore. You're just too lazy, or you haven't, ended them. You don't need that stuff. Get rid of it. Sell those things in your house that you're not using, that you haven't looked at in years. Turn those things in your closet into money, into your garage, those tools you don't use. Sell those things, sell that house, downsize. You want to still be a homeowner? You don't want to live in an RV like me? I get it. It's not for everybody. It's not for most people. But I'm a single guy. You want to get into a smaller place? Get you a little condo where they cut the grass, where they have the, you pay a little HOA fee. Some of them are kind of exorbitant, but if you can find one that's cheap, but it's cheaper than that house you're paying. And here in South Florida, people are getting raped on their homeowner's insurance for the hurricanes. The only way you can avoid insurance is if you have no mortgage. And then if a hurricane comes in and your house gets blown down, then you're SOL. It's on you. But you got to make some tough decisions. But you can end this work at this prison job much earlier than you think in life. 5 years earlier anyway. And you say, well, what's the big deal? If I just wait, I can get the Medicare insurance, I can get the bigger check, all this. I'll tell you what the bigger deal is, and this is the crescendo. This is the icing on the cake. This is the most important thing. This supersedes everything I just said. It's not the money. It's your health. It's your life. It's this fact that I'm awake right now with a soul and I'm alive. From 62 to 67, a lot of people die. The average age is 73 years old for a male in the United States. That's right, Google it. People want to comment saying, oh, if you live to be 65, you got a guarantee to be 90. If you live to be 90, you got a guarantee to be 200. Hogwash, hogwash. People are dropping dead for all kinds of reasons. All the food that we eat, the ingredients in the foods, diabetes, cancer, strokes, heart attacks, all of these things. So you wait 5 years, you get the bigger check, you quit your job, you start drawing it in. 8 months later, a year later, you're in the ground, you're dead. No one gets that Social Security. Well, if you're married, there are spousal benefits. But guess what? A lot of people argue that point too. Oh, I'm going to keep working and build a bigger check, so if something happens to me, I'm older than my wife. If I die, she can get more money. Well, the only way she gets more money is if she waits until she's full retirement age. She can't get what you're getting at full retirement age until she is. There's still a cut that she takes, just like if you were to take your cut, they call it a cut. It's not a cut, it's the amount. It's not a less amount, it's the amount. It's the 62-year-old amount. It's the most amount because unless you live past 77 or 80 years old, folks, you don't get any more. You never will. And what are you going to do at 77 to 80? You know, a lot of us don't die suddenly. We don't die at 62 or 67. You know when we die? We die at 70 because our life is over and we spend 5 years, 10 years, 8 years, 7 years dying slowly from something that happened in our 60s that caused us to be sitting near a transfusion place for some kind of cancer treatment, or you've got emphysema, or you had a stroke and you can't walk good, you got disabilities, you got all of these things that are causing you to leave this world much slower than being hit by a bus. So you have 18 years of growing up from a baby, and then you could potentially have your last 5 to 10 years, at least 5 years for a lot of people. I mean, before they're out of here, they're really just, I mean, they're not, if you look at people that are really, really old, that do survive, that live to be a long time in their 80s and stuff, nobody wants to go to heaven tonight. Everybody wants to go, but nobody wants to go tonight. I get that. But what quality of life are you going to give up when you're vibrant and younger, from 62 to staying alive into your 80s, but you're not doing much? You're really old. You don't have mobility. You don't have enthusiasm to get out and do. You can't, no matter what you think in your mind, you just can't get out and do what you wish you could have done when you were 62. You just keep sitting there saying, if I was 62 again, you know, what I would do, I would travel this country in an RV. I would travel, I would play golf sooner. I would go fishing more. I would have gone and seen my family more. I would have gone to the park more and took walks. I'd have started going to the gym so that I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now and creating better health. I would have eaten better. I would have, purged some of the things out of my life, such as alcohol, cigarettes, and things like that. Everything is 20/20 in hindsight. Don't wait until it's too late and listen to the naysayers and listen to the negativity that all this extra $500, $600, whatever it is, $700, waiting 5 years till you're much older and acting and looking and could possibly contract certain health issues to get that money. What is money worth when you're horizontal in a bed and you can't get out? You'll give it all away. Jeff Bezos will give it all away if he was laying horizontal in a bed and couldn't get out of it. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. So what's really most important in life? What's most important in life, folks, is being enthusiastic about something. And what can make you enthused? Well, knowing the good Lord, number one, and having your health. I mean, wouldn't you rather be a healthy person living under a bridge than a rich person in a mansion that this road is lined with, but you can't get out of your bed and you got to have caretakers feed you, take care of you, shop for you, wheel you around? Not everybody's going to end up like that, but you're certainly going to be much older. And when you're in your 80s, you're not going to be wanting to get out and skip around the block like you are at 62. I mean, it's just a fact of life. So live your life. I mean, do you realize that at 62, you're already, 15, 20 years possibly past the midpoint? Nobody lives to be 100. Very rare. So at 50, that's not the midpoint, because nobody lives to be 100 for the most part. 40, that's not the midpoint, because people die at 73, the average age for a male. So at 35 years old, you're on the downside. So how many more years do you want to continue in the workforce and in that prison job where you're accounted for 40 hours a week? Be here or be fired. Be here. Get in that traffic. Buy that lunch money. Go to that dry cleaner. Pay for all that extra gas in your car. Pay for that maintenance. Do all these things. Or from around 35, 40 years old, you start to find a way to buy your last car for a while. Make that car last. Get it paid off. Then only buy used cars that you can afford, that people trade them like they change their underwear around here in South Florida. The battery goes dead, trade it in. There's something wrong with it. Pick up a nice pre-owned car for a depreciated price. Never buy a brand new car. Sell all those things that you're not using, you haven't looked at in years in your garage. Put that money in the bank. Use that to pay off debt. Cancel Netflix, YouTube TV, and all these things that aren't worth watching on TV. All they're going to do is age you, get you upset, divide you from everybody else, make you think that everybody's different when we're all God's creation. We're all benevolent by nature. We're all nice people, most of us. I have to eat those words because they're not so nice, some of them. The vast majority are. Anyway, we would help anybody, no matter what they've said or whatever. If we didn't know that, they were laying on the road right here and just got in an accident, I'd be right there to help them. So would you. But go ahead, get your life going, getting out of debt. You know, you become 18, you get out, you want to buy a new car, you want to, travel, you want to have family, you want to have children, you want to buy a home, you want to go into debt, you get these credit cards, you want to build your credit, and you get this debt, and you got it. A lot of us got it. You get these student loan debts and all that kind of stuff, and then, you get to be older, you need to get that, you need to get rid of that. You need to get rid of it any way you can, and come up with a nucleus, just an overhead, a given amount that you can't get away from, which is called food, gas, car insurance, your overhead, rent, a small mortgage if you have one, at a downsized property, if you had equity in a home, that you could buy something for much less and get your cost of living way down. That's the key. It's not how much you make, it's how much you got going out. But if you have a lot of debt and all those streaming services and all these things that you don't need to be paying for, and making these car payments on this car that does nothing more than the same thing my car does, takes me to the same position and destination you want to go, just as reliable, whether it be a truck, car, or whatever. Even if it has 30,000 more miles on it, as long as you take care of it, change the oil, and do what you're supposed to do, things will last. Take care of things. I live in an RV. Some people say, oh, that's glues and screws. Well, I walk softly. I close doors easy. I don't drag it around everywhere. I don't go down dirt roads. I take care of it. You take care of anything. And anything that you abuse, I look at brand new Mercedes-Benz and Cadillacs every day. They've never been washed once. They've been smoked in. The seats tore up. They don't change their tires. They speed. They run up to a red light at 50 miles an hour and hit their brakes and wear their brakes out. People just abuse stuff. Don't be like that. Think smart, folks. Think about your life. Think about, at 35 years old, you are on the downside of life, but you've got another whole half. Make it a good one. The first half was just growing up. Hopefully you got some smarts in your head from growing up. Your parents taught you right from wrong. You got the golden rule. Treat others like you want to be treated. You worked. You got a little pension coming in maybe with your Social Security. You're golden. You stayed on that job. You had a government job or something. I don't know. One of those jobs that pay a pension. I don't have one. Most people don't have them. Those that get those and a Social Security, they really got the world by the toe. But get yourself out of debt. Collect your Social Security at 62. Think about life can be free. Every day I wake up, I have to pinch myself. I always ask myself, is there somebody I got to ask that I need to be going or checking in with, or do I need to, call somebody? No, I am free. Do I have $1 million? No. Do I live in one of these houses on the ocean? No. Do I drive a $100,000 truck? Certainly not. Do I wear $500 shoes? No. Do I wear a Rolex? No. I don't have a lot of things, but I'm healthy. I got a free check coming in every month. I'm making some money on YouTube. I have a side hustle. I did a side hustle before this. And if this ever ends, I'll do another thing. I'll always make some money, but I don't have to work 40 hours a week to do it because I got a guaranteed check coming in at 62 years old, knowing that I might only have another 11 or 12 years in my life based on the average lifespan. Even if I get another 15 or 20, what is that compared to the years I've already invested and put into this life. I want to enjoy every day like it's the last, and every day that goes by, I definitely want to crush it.